Welcome back, everybody. We are the Film Lovers, Guides of the Galaxy, and today we're going to give you a double feature, one in theaters, the other one streaming platform. We're going to talk about the MCU's 30th film, Wakanda Forever, part of the Black Panther series, and then Roku channel, if you guys didn't know, actually has their own streaming platform. They have an original movie. One we're talking about is Weird, the Al Yankovic story. But before we do all that, you guys know how we start this podcast off.
So I'm not gonna. The point of this rant is this. Let's say that costs you like 20 grand a year, okay? And the insurance covers 80. You're like, oh, it's a pretty good deal. Well, no, you have cancer.
What's the worst thing you'll do for $1 million?
Fuck you! Stop fucking dropping oil into the Gulf, you dipshits. Fucking morons.
I still want to know what Joe would do. What's the worst thing he would do for $1 million? To be honest with you, that's a question.
Worst
that never
thing I would do
answered.
for $1 million. Like, it depends though. I'll punch a dog, but then that's not for some people.
No.
Yeah, but listen. Some people will be like, yeah, it's no problem. Like, so what's worse for me isn't necessarily worse for other people. Like, let's say eating like a really gross hamburger, like expired hamburger.
Expired
PETA, don't come
What?
for us.
expired meat? Oh my god.
You say it's not bad enough for $1 million?
No, that's gross. No, that's terrible. But also
for $1 million?
But I mean, you could die.
Yeah, I don't know. But well, I mean, let's assume that you won't die though.
I don't know.
All right, let's assume.
I'll just be in the hospital for a week with whatever kind of.
No, I'm saying like it's $1 million. It's $1 million. It's $1 million. Anyways,
yeah, but what my stomach is going to go through, I don't know, man.
Yeah,
like
$1 million is $1 million, man. Just take.
We could give you like IBS for life, bro.
Well, okay, then let's assume that you won't have permanent damage. I don't know, dude. Like, we're thinking too much into this shit.
That's the inherent risk of doing the worst thing for $1 million.
Like, there's people who would probably take like a bullet to the leg for $1 million. Right? I'm sure that someone like that exists. 100%.
Would you take a bullet to the leg for $1 million?
No.
Okay.
I think that causes permanent damage, and like everyone walks every day. Like, you're right. It's right through the fucking bone or some shit.
Okay.
There's lines that Joe will not cross over. Okay,
the point I'm making is everyone's lines are different. Okay. I will punch your dog.
Oh, God. No. PETA again. This is all jokes.
Fucking PETA. All right, so my thing is actually quite. I think a lot of people might agree with this. I think normalize going to movies 20 minutes late. I think.
Get the fuck out.
No, I think it's fine. One of two things. Listen.
It's fine because you live in podunk ass fucking Pennsylvania.
Listen, no, hold on. Let me say my shit.
Okay.
I think that one, assuming that don't show up 20 minutes late to buy the ticket. That's a bad move on you, right? Let's assume that you buy the ticket online. It's like, and you get seating, all that kind of stuff, and you're showing up when the trailers end, which is about 15-20 minutes. I think that's perfectly fine. I do that shit, and it's great. I don't want to see all these credits unless you're into the trailers. But I'm not about that life, and I think the trailers before the movies have progressively gotten longer.
You don't like trailers?
I don't like most of the trailers I see in movies.
We're a little different because we watch movies a lot, so we'll see the same trailer over and over. So I get where Joe's
gonna see the trailer online.
Oh, see,
it's like it's not going to be available.
I don't know.
I
don't usually watch trailers online unless someone links it to me. Like
right. What I'm trying to say is, this is pretty much 20 minutes of advertising to you, right?
Yeah,
cool.
But so I'm okay with it. I don't think it disturbs anyone if I show up at the end of the trailers.
Okay, so
sit in my seat.
I think that's the distinction. I think if you're in your seat before that last trailer shows up, or before Nicole Kidman goes on her spiel, saving AMC because they make movies great, right? Oh, I forgot what the slogan is. That's fine. My biggest thing is like if the credit starts, you cannot be sitting. Like
No, yeah, my whole thing is you're missing just the trailers, but not the movie. And I think that's perfectly fine.
I don't go to AMC because I don't want to see fucking Nicole Kidman give me that spiel. Get the fuck out of here.
I just don't get how that the same commercial is going to be played. Before this, this was who was that person before this? There's always like this chunk of commercial. It's Nicole Kidman now, but whoever did it before, it just played over and over and over again.
Yeah, it's usually like a car commercial, and then the M&M commercial. Yeah, it's always like the M&M commercial to get you to buy bullshit.
Yep. It's gonna be 20 minutes of trailers with a commercial for AMC and then a commercial for refreshments. Oh, get your Coke, get your popcorn, get your this, and then there's a commercial for AMC Club or whatever where you get $1 off $85 popcorn. Fuck you, right? Again, I'm also by the way all for sneaking in food just as long as you throw away and not create a mess.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so. Fuck everything else about that.
Let me ask you something, Joe. If you buy your Junior Mints or whatever you like, are you allowed to leave that box in the theater?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
You should be allowed, but the nice thing to do is throw away in the trash can. Obviously, the super dick move is to spill popcorn like.
Oh yeah,
and just like
you're for sure,
like an animal, right? So typically. If I just pick up all my trash and throw it in because I've worked in the movie theater, so I get it. And I'm not trying to say that just because I worked in the movie theater, but I think you should throw away all your trash. But if it's something you bought, I don't think you should necessarily feel bad for leaving it there, just as long as you're not leaving shit all over the ground.
Correct.
Yeah,
I think. And anytime you bring food from outside, just as long as you throw away all your trash and keep it as clean as you walked in, I'm okay.
I always try to bring like a slice or two of pizza. You know,
man, you go hard. You bring pizza. Dude, I bring burgers in. I think pizza's a little hard.
Wait! You just said he went hard bringing a pizza, slice of pizza,
no,
and you said you're bringing a burger in. Come on, man.
You're telling me that pizza is harder than no? You are a psycho.
Pizza's harder to bring in. It's a slice. Where are you sneaking this shit in?
I wrap it in foil, and I put it in my my jacket pocket.
Do you fucking fold it in half before you shove it into your pocket?
There's 2 slices. I put them together, and I put them in my pocket, and the other pocket's my Diet Coke.
All I'm saying is burgers are like, oh my God. Like McDonald's burgers aren't that big. It's not as big as slices of pizza.
Okay, I thought you meant like a fucking
like a Five Guys hamburger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. I mean. But anyways, yeah, I'm all for that. I think I have very little sympathy for the movie theater business. Although if they go out of business, I don't know. I feel kind of iffy about that because I should be still supporting that business, right? Because they, you know what I mean?
So, okay, here's my thing. I think, Joe, we'll turn this into an intervention. I think you should pay for either the movie or the concession. One of the two.
Oh, I started paying for movies. They're $5 right now.
Okay. just one or the other. Just one or the other.
But
one or the other.
But here's the thing. I think paying for the movie doesn't. I don't think a lot of it really goes to the theater, right?
It goes in the first how many weeks? Like 4 or 5 weeks. It goes 100% to the studio, and then after that, the theaters recoup. They make their money on the concessions.
Yeah, on average, it's like 70-30 studio theater. That's why.
So I mean,
that's why the prices are so jacked.
So that fucking $5 ain't doing jack.
Well, here's I'm okay with the $5 given the shit ass seats I have. Johnny might attest to this. It's not nice seats. It's not even the ones that lean back really.
I'm assuming. Yeah. I'm assuming they're like Westminster 10 seating.
Oh, yeah, back in Westminster 10 now is what I have back. It sucks. And what's worse is like the screen. If I sit far back enough, it looks like my 60-inch TV, right? It gets
far back enough.
So, it's just not that. The screen's not that big, dude. And
Joe,
yeah,
Westminster 10 has not gone under any renovations. It is still the same shit as when we
because people still go watch movies there.
Yeah. But you're telling me, like, why haven't they renovated that shit? Why have
You
they
mean where I'm
not?
from?
No.
Because they get.
Westminster 10.
I want to say the management said, "Hey, we're still making money. If the shoe fits or whatever, or the pot ain't broke, don't fix it. You know,
Did you say if the pie ain't broke?
if the pot ain't
Oh,
broke, don't
okay.
fix it."
Okay. I
So
heard pie.
that's what I'm guessing. And then with them not renovating it and the fact that they're still getting people through the door and getting good money, fuck it, just roll with it. Because I'm guessing renovations also cost a lot of money, and I'm also going to guess putting all that renovations in, they're probably guessing they're not going to get more people through the door. Is my guess. Sneak McDonald's into movie theaters, people. But pay for your ticket, I guess, is the other thing.
I guess. I think at this point, they'd rather have you sneak in and just buy the food because at least they get 100% of what you're buying concession wise.
Yeah, but I just can't buy popcorn, man. Dude. I'm telling you right now, the popcorn and drink right now is $22. Let that sink in.
What?
$22 for a large popcorn, large drink combo.
And this is at AMC?
Oh my.
This is an AMC.
Because I know at Cinemark, if I got a large popcorn and a large icy, at least with my discount, it's like $10, which is actually fair. Relative.
No.
Relative.
Don't
to
say
theater.
that.
I mean, would you rather pay 10 or 20?
I'd rather pay $0 and sneak it in, Johnny. I don't think you know who you're talking to here.
I can't sneak in an icy.
You should, Johnny.
How am I going to sneak in an icy?
Johnny, well, in a fucking thermal flask or something like that. Johnny, listen. You gotta get out of the mentality that paying $10 for popcorn and icy is okay. That shit costs maybe 13 cents total.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
I understand that.
You know, if you did, you'd sneak your shit in every time.
I'm not going to sneak icy in every single time. You think if I'm going to walk into 7-Eleven with a therma, with my thermal here, be like, hey man, I'm filling this shit up. Here's $4.
Anyways, Johnny, you do you, but I'm sticking to what I'm doing, and I'm fighting the man $1 at a time. $1 at a time.
All right, Jared, what did you watch this week?
Oh, buddy. Okay, I watched quite a bit of stuff actually. I am currently watching this cooking show on HBO Max. It's called The Big Brunch. It's with Daniel Levy. Dan Levy and two other hosts. One was from Bon Appetit, and another one is a restaurateur. And everything you don't like about the Great British Baking Show, this show is. The judges are sitting there drinking. They have a bartender making them cocktails. They're talking. They're laughing. They go in and out of the kitchen and talk with these people that are doing, primarily like brunch food and other things. It's a really fun cooking show. You know how like kind of Top Chef is like you got Tom Colicchio just fucking dissecting the plate. This is not that. This is them taking it. They're cussing. I highly recommend it if you're into that kind of thing. And then I watched the finale of the Great British Bake Off. Love that show. This season was not the best, but it wasn't terrible either. Boy, what else have I been watching? Oh, Andor. I've been trying to catch up on Andor. That is the best Star Wars thing that they possibly have ever made. And I mean ever. Going back to like Empire. It is so friggin' good. I highly recommend it to any Star Wars fan there ever is. And God, what else? Not much else. Just last night was Full Gear, the AEW pay per view. Really, really good. You'd think people would learn not to like shit on this company when pay per views come on. Oh, it's not going to be good. Oh, this and that. Nah, man. Every single one has been worth $50. I pay $200 a year basically for the pay per views. This company does 4 pay per views a year. They're $50 each, and they are phenomenal. Highly, I'm a big pro wrestling fan though, so that's about it. Never really been watching else.
That last match was really good. MJF. Really,
oh yeah,
that was so good.
Healed it up, but I think that the trouble going forward is that everyone's going to want to treat him like a babyface, but he is not a babyface.
Yeah,
So I think that it's going to have some trouble booking, but I'm into it. I think MJF has the ball and is going to run with it and elevate the company.
perfect. What about you, Joe? What have you been watching?
I haven't been watching much at all because I've been playing God of War.
Oh, the new one.
Uh,
Yeah.
I have about 40 hours in it, by the
Oh
way.
yeah. Oh man, I'm playing that too. I just got done with Alfheim.
Yeah,
The elf part.
yeah, I'm like, so I looked up, I don't know why I did this, but I looked up there's just number of chapters there are total, so I have an idea of
So
how much of the,
it's so long.
I am 2 or 3 chapters from the end, so I stopped the main story, and I just got to go back and did the random shit, like fighting the birds, fighting the favors, doing all the stuff, and it takes a long ass time. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm just googling where the birds are because I'm not wasting my time looking for that shit.
Yeah.
So all that it's just a lot of walking around. Have you done the gravestones yet?
No.
Okay, I'm not gonna say anything about that. So that's another thing that takes a while. And yeah, so I think I'm gonna be playing this for another week or so. I think I'll probably complete it next week, is my guess, because I've been playing it every day.
What else have you been playing, Joe? Anything else?
That I've been playing. I've been playing FIFA a little bit. I went back to
bought FIFA today.
yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah, I haven't played a FIFA game in a number of years, and it's pretty fun. I have pretty much all the major sports games these days, and FIFA is pretty fun.
I'm a big fan of FIFA. I went back to playing The Last of Us 2. I sort of just like because it was free on Disney Plus or not Disney Plus, PlayStation Plus. So I got it. I put in maybe an hour into it, and then God of War came out. So that's all I'm doing. Okay. So and I bought the disc version as well. My co-resident actually made a good point saying, if I get a digital version, I'll download it immediately and I'll play. Great.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if I get the disc version, I can if I'm done playing with it, I can lend it to somebody. I realized, so they can play. You can't really do that with a digital version, right?
No, you can't.
Yeah, you can only share one to one person, but that's when you get stopped.
Yeah. So he made a good point about that. I don't really buy a lot of physical copies of games, so I did that. I recently learned that the special edition version of God of War, where it comes in a giant ass box, doesn't come with the physical copy of the game.
No,
it comes with the code.
Yeah.
Like, bro, that's the whole fucking point of a lot of people buying this shit. That was such a joke. So, I slowly came to the realization that it's a DRM, for video games.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think it's perfectly fine that if you purchased a video game, you own a license, one copy of the license of the game you can share with people, just as long as you're not illegally streaming, uploading it online or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's the only thing I did there, and then that's it. That's all I did, man. Just a shit ton of God of War, a lot of frustrating hours of God of War, and I can't tell if I'm bad at video games or not. But
it's a tough game. I have died multiple times. It is a tough game.
When I first started the game, I was like, should I just put it on Give Me God of War? Just max it out.
Yeah.
I just put it on Give Me Balance because I'm like, I just want to experience a story.
I did that too.
But there's people out there that just go hard, and I just feel like maybe it's just not for me anymore.
I don't understand the people that do oh yeah, I'm gonna beat it on the hardest difficulty for these type of games. This game has a fucking story. I don't want to have to be playing the same combat arena for 3 hours because I put it on a hard difficulty.
Exactly.
Give me the fucking story.
They're chasing the trophies, man. That's what they're doing it for.
Yeah, but who are you flexing the trophies on?
It's a pride thing for them.
I mean, for me, Super Meat Boy back in the day.
Oh, that's a keyboard smasher right there.
I got 100%. I got the platinum on that bitch because I had no life at the time.
So Super Meat Boy fucking sucks to play. It is so hard.
Yeah, I love that game though.
It is absurd. Anyways,
yeah.
I just finished a game called Tunic. Completed that.
Yeah.
After I beat it, I looked online. There's like bugs in the game you can exploit. I've been just kind of fucking around with that. I looked into doing all the special shit on there, getting like the true ending and all that kind of stuff.
Nice.
Honest to God, there's no way I would have completed this game. Like it is impossible for me. Like this is Fez 2.0 basically.
Yeah.
There is no way my little brain could figure this game out by myself.
Fez was really one of those as well that I was like, oh.
After beating Fez normally, and then they're like, yeah, there's like a whole 80% more of the game. Like, bro, there's no way I'm going to figure this out. How do people figure this out? This is impossible. This is like a group effort sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it was a very, very fun game. So for those listening, I mean, obviously God of War, a big deal. Play it. And Tunic, very, very fun game as well. So I highly suggest it.
Just want to shout out a friend of the show, Chloe. She's one of the audio producers for God of War. So, it's great that the game's completed.
That's right.
So,
yo, shout out. You did, well, whatever part you did, the sound's fantastic. The music, the background, obviously, everything's amazing.
Everything goes through her with the audio. So,
yeah, you did a wonderful, wonderful job.
So, speaking of video games, I've been playing a little bit with my brother on the Xbox, Modern Warfare 2. Let me tell you something.
Oh yeah, me too. Yeah.
God, to Joe's point, I am getting old. I mean, I was never good at shooters to begin with. I'm just I'm just there because it's a group type of game of setting. But man, I don't know if it's because I'm playing on a widescreen monitor, but like I have to take a break after like 40 minutes, like no more, because my head just gets so dizzy, and I'm just
you get
brain fatigue.
I get nauseous a little bit.
Yeah,
like I don't know what it is. So here's the thing: if I play a sports game where I'm looking top down, 100% good.
Yep.
Like for whatever. Anytime there's a lot of motion, I'm just like, bro, I'm 30 minutes. I gotta go lay down and not look at something for a while.
Yeah,
and I'm trying to figure out what the deal is.
It's age. I don't think we can handle that stuff. I don't know.
Is it though?
It might be. Well, then again, I haven't. To Jared's point, most games that I buy over the past several years have been sports games. Why? Because I can complete them in like 30 minutes to an hour. I could play longer if I wanted to, but it's very finite. There's a start and there's an end. Some of these games don't. And then, I got used to it. So I don't know if the shooter aspect of it, with me controlling the vision, just kind of. But I think it's only with first person, like God of War, or like third person. It's much easier for me to be able to see that. Right? It's only the first person
you're
stuff.
Right.
It makes it harder.
I've been playing a lot of that UFC 4 game. It's like a fighting game. It's very fun.
Yeah,
and I could play that for a long time, but like I can only chunk God of War or Modern Warfare for probably like an hour, maybe 45 minutes at a time, because I just get like, I kind of get fatigued, like with the story. I'm just like, okay, I want to pace this out. Or Modern Warfare, okay, I hit a bad streak or whatever like that. And it's funny with sports games like that. I do not, Johnny, like you said, I don't feel that fatigue.
Yeah. It's just, it maybe part of it is because it's like, unless you're playing I think it's easier to focus on, but I could be wrong. I'm not looking at like the top right of my screen because some sniper is just there, and I got to be very aware of that. I'm just like, look, it's in the field of vision. I'm here. Outside of that, the one movie I watched this past week is On the Line. It stars Mel Gibson in it, and he plays like this radio host who takes a call from this caller. Basically, the caller is like threatening his wife and kids, and then you find out that like he's rigged this radio station to set off to explode in an hour.
This is Speed, but with more steps.
I'll tell you guys this because I'm not going to spoil the movie, but if you are a fan of a movie like Phone Booth and you're a fan of a
Oh,
movie
phone booth.
like The Game, right, with Michael Douglas, and it's a mash of those two movies, and it's worse than that. So this movie is so bad. This movie is so bad. Like, it is one of the worst movies I've seen this year, and purely it's because I will say this: Mel Gibson, you know, as an actor, he's pretty good in this movie. He does really well. The problem is that the last 20 minutes of that movie, I watched it and I was like, "Oh, you put me all this for this? Fuck you!" Like pretty much this is like a big f you to the audience. You know, they're gonna think it's something poetic that they think they're doing something, but it's not. This movie is one of the worst movies I've seen this year. There's a reason why I went straight to streaming. I wouldn't even stream it. Like, the only time I would ever rewatch this movie if it was on TNT on a Sunday afternoon, and I accidentally clicked onto TNT that day. That's it. None would recommend it.
Hey, so speaking of streaming TNT, just kind of as like an aside, did you hear about the Warner Brothers Discovery new CEO was like, "Oh, we don't need the NBA," like because they were talking about not, having to cut costs and whatever like that, and it's like, bro,
They're crazy.
you are fucking crazy. You need the NBA because otherwise that station is just Shawshank Redemption reruns.
Dude, Tuesdays people tune in to that station alone.
Yeah.
Like, you got people staying up till 1 a.m. just because they can catch that half an hour with the Inside the NBA crew. So they're nuts. Like, if that's what they're saying, but all right, guys, before we get into the movies, I just want to tell you guys, a couple things. One, with kind of redoing the schedule, stuff like that. All these main episodes will launch every Tuesday. So be on the lookout every Tuesday. We'll have it out. Whether it's morning or night, that really depends on how tired I am about the uploading. We'll go with that. But on Thursdays, we'll actually do different episodes about expanding our universe. One, like Jared's Corner, with himself and Danny talking about the Scream movies. And then we're going to talk about TV shows coming up as well. It'll be great one of these times if Danny watches one of these movies, we can have her on as well. Main episode, see what that looks like with her. But check it out, you guys. Tuesdays, Thursdays, and then we'll try to probably start. I'll try to start doing social media again, but I'm trying to figure out if Twitter's going to burn or not. We'll wait and see.
Yeah.
All right. So let's start off with the first movie here, and that is Black Panther: Wakanda Forever.
Only the most broken people can be great leaders.
With the highly successful release of Black Panther in 2018, which included 7 Oscar nominations and 3 Oscar wins, director Ryan Coogler and his team returned for the 30th film entry of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Starring Letitia Wright, Lupita Nyong'o, Denai Guerrero, Winston Duke, Tenoch Huerta, and Angela Bassett, the film deals with the people of Wakanda as they fight to protect their home from intervening world powers as they mourn the death of King T'Challa, R.I.P. Chadwick Boseman. It will be the duty of Shuri, M'Baku, Nakia, and Okoye to defend their nation, especially when a mysterious Mexican civilization emerges from the depths of the sea.
His people did not call him general or king. They called him Kukulkan, the feather serpent god.
All right, Joe, I know you saw this movie today. I want to know your thoughts first. What do you think of this movie?
It was not good, in my opinion. It was not good. I don't know if Ryan Coogler just sort of...
We got a Jared and Joe agreement this show.
The thing is... All right, the thing is, I felt like, and I get that, Chadwick Boseman, they're like trying to pull like a Fast and Furious sort of thing. It's like a tribute thing and all that kind of thing. And I have no problem with that. In the first 5 minutes, the tribute, and the last 5 minutes, the tribute. That's fine. This movie was 2 hours and 45 minutes long, first of all. Like, what the shit? And 2, like, it was... if you told me that this was not a Marvel movie, I would have believed you. Like if it made no, like I don't know why it's even part of the universe sometimes. And like what did they get James Cameron to do Avatar as part of this movie? Like with the blue people just out of nowhere? And it's just I don't understand. It was just not good. There was too many lulls in the movie. Too many parts where they're like just trying to win Oscars or something with these trying to like dialogues. You need to cut the dialogue by about 30%. First of all, you don't need any of that background shit. I don't give a fuck about any of that stuff. Okay, it does not add sustenance to the movie at all. Like you don't ever go back to it, and it's just and I can't not think about the fact that the lead, Lolita, is like what is like a flat earther, anti-vaxxer. Yeah, I just can't get that out of my brain. And I see her, she's like, yeah, let me drink this special liquid. No, she ain't. She didn't even believe in vaccines. Get the fuck out of here, dude. That left such a bad taste in my mouth when I find out she's an absolute moron. Okay? It's such a bad step down from Chadwick Boseman. Such a bad step down. And it's not because she's a female lead or anything that kind of shit. I think overall that kind of theme is very, very cool. It's just, it's such a, like a weird cluster of things, ideas put together that I guess Kevin Feige approved. I don't know.
Well,
They really, it's not great, and I don't know why they're gonna make a 3. They're gonna make a 3 probably, right?
They have to. Yeah. So oh, go ahead, John. I thought you were done.
Last bit, like because at the end they have his actual kid or whatever, and they can do whatever with that. It's just I like the whole story is a little bit a lot disjointed. I don't know why they gave like a Ghetto Man's Iron Man in this movie too. Like what the fuck is all that shit about it? Like I don't get that. Like why not just give her a spear? Like why does she have to be this weird Iron Man person? And like the fights were super lame. I think that like the story's kind of stupid. I don't know what's going on half the time. I was looking at my watch every 15 to 20 minutes thinking, when is it going to turn 4 o'clock so I can leave? And I'm so happy that there was no end credit scene. There's only a mid credit scene. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, great, deuces. And it was just not great. I don't recommend watching this movie, and I hope they lose money.
So I'm going to take the handoff Joe is giving me with this opinion. I think this movie didn't know what it wanted to be. It was half tribute to Chadwick Boseman, half Marvel movie with a lot of action and everything like that. Namor was fucking cool. I would have loved way more of him. I think the movie unfortunately was bogged down with they felt like they needed to pay tribute to Chadwick Boseman's Black Panther. I think the whole thing it was just, Joe said that it was just like a mishmash of ideas and that's exactly what it was. They couldn't decide what it was, an identity crisis in this whole movie of, do we pay tribute to him, or is it this new, or we have the whole with the Namor and that land, all that stuff. Mm-hmm. Okay, I agree with Joe. I think I'm hugely turned off that she is an anti-vaxxer and all that stuff, especially when her character is supposed to be the science lady. Angela Bassett is amazing. She is amazing in anything. Hell, she's amazing in fucking 911, which my dad watches every week. He loves that shit show, and she acts her ass off in anything. Mm-hmm. The Namor origin story was very visually interesting. The movie needed way more of him, okay? He was captivating in every way, and I walked out kind of feeling like we only got a tiny bit of understanding of his character and motivations. He was so interesting. I hope he is introduced. I hope, because traditionally his character is kind of like frenemies with the other factions in the Marvel Universe. I hope we get way more of him, because he was fucking great. I don't know. I'm so conflicted about this, Johnny and Joe. Like what do you think, Johnny?
There was 3 movies here. One was good, one was okay, one was bad. I think
Yeah.
that the movie as dealing with grief, which I
Mm-hmm.
think that was done really well. I think the first
Yeah.
5 minutes of that movie and the last five, particularly, it was done really well. And I actually like a lot of the smaller moments when it came to them kind of, grieving, because they all had different ways of grieving T'Challa or Chadwick Boseman in real life, right? So it kind of comes emphasis of that. I will agree with you. Angela Bassett was the best part in this movie. Like, she was so good. I was like, oh, I completely forgot you were the queen here. Like, the way they introduce her, and then, in the mid part where, Shiri, like, disappears and she, like, demotes Okoye. Like, I thought that part was like, I'm like, oh, like, there's a lot of really good individual moments of this movie. I think the other part of this movie is talking about Namor, the whole world building. I thought it was
Mm-hmm.
really well done, even though there's certain parts in that movie where I probably we can probably cut out. I think
Oh
when
yeah,
they
it definitely needed an edit.
yeah, it did need an edit. That movie should not be 2 hours and 40 minutes. That movie
I think
at
I think
most
a
can be 2 hours.
tight 215. I think a tight 215 would be great.
Visiting Talcon was actually really cool to kind of see.
Yeah.
I think he did it well, but I think there's certain things about this movie that felt off, right? And I felt bad for Ryan
Mm-hmm.
Coogler because he when he
Oh
made
yeah.
this script, when he made the original script for this movie, it was about T'Challa, everything's like that, and then 2 months later, he finds out that Chadwick Boseman has cancer. And so he basically kept some of the stuff in that script, but he had to rewrite everything, right? To me, that is kind of where the identity crisis is. I could, and unfortunately, this movie also had the world build, and I think that's where the worst parts are. Like, I love me Martin Freeman, I love me Julia Louis Dreyfus. They have
Yeah.
no reason to be in this
No.
movie.
No
None.
business.
There's no business other than to expand whatever it is they want to do with the universe. And
I
to
think with Martin Freeman having a scene at the with the tribute to T'Challa or something like that,
yep.
totally fine. But I completely agree with you there.
And to Joe's point, the girl that's trying to be Iron Man Part 2, it's because she has her own show coming up in this next phase. Just FYI, that's why
Yeah,
she has all this.
totally.
So, to me, this movie, I wanted to like this movie. I
Mm-hmm.
really did. I think this movie is a movie that had individual great moments that just couldn't tell a very structured, cohesive story altogether. There's ideas that they wanted to do, it just never meshed. I do think, to me, spoiler alert for everyone, my 2 favorite scenes are, one, we talked about the Angela Bassett scene where she just,
Mm-hmm.
shows her like emotional grief for now not knowing if her daughter's alive or not. But then, to your guys' point, yes, it's kind of dumb. And I think that's where the third part of this movie is really lacking, is because it had to try to be a Black Panther movie, but it never was recreated like that, right? The Queen asking Shuri, hey, they need a Black Panther. It just got shoveled in. Like, oh shit, we
Yeah.
need to get Black Panther, right? That being said, when Michael B. Jordan showed up, I was like, "Oh, this is fucking cool!"
Oh yeah.
like that scene was so good, man. Like, he comes
Yeah.
in, but that to me, like, those are the emotional things in that movie that works well, but just never it never completed itself as a story. It just never
Yeah.
connected
And
fully,
I think, and it's because it had this triple identity, dual identity, like you said.
hmm
Like,
So my thing is, if we remove the Black Panther stuff out, and you're just talking about kind of tribute to how they mourn grief after T'Challa, and they do the Namor, Telecon stuff, I think that movie's fine. I think it's once they
oh yeah,
try to adding Black Panther into
hmm
it, because someone has to take the mantle. That's where the movie
absolutely.
disintegrates.
And it's also trying to be a Marvel movie, which means that third act is the same fucking shit
Yep.
that they've been doing for how fucking long.
Yeah.
You know, it's the same third act, and it just gets more noticeable with every single movie. It's gotta chill out. Like, they've got to do something. And I hopefully, with the new phase coming up, I really think that that's their chance to do it. But boy, it's getting way more noticeable. Like, it's not like I don't even psych myself up for like, oh, this is a Marvel movie, you know? Like, it's more like, oh, okay, this is what it is. I kind of know what to expect, you know?
I've been telling you guys, getting Marvel fatigue, man, and that's really a lot of the reason of it. It's the same shit every time, you know.
You know,
They're too afraid to change it. I could tell you probably how the Phase 7 ends, by the way, just based on how everything else is going.
I mean, I agree with you, Joe, that like the differentiator is the storytelling for me. If you can tell a good story, I will sit through the mediocre action sequences, which kind of sucks in this movie because it's like I don't remember. There's nothing. I know what the scenes are, but it doesn't like. There's nothing in the fight scenes where I'm like, cool. This is very memorable. Like this is something
Yeah.
that like that. It's
It, when was
perfunctory.
the last time we got that fucking sweet, like, airport fight scene or Marvel or Cap and Iron Man going at it and he's bouncing the shield and where they're just. Or even with the recent Spider-Man movie, people are starting to shit on it. I don't know why. Going back on it, but seeing those three Spider-Men fly through the air and do their thing was such an experience of like joy and wow, this is badass. That I can't remember what happened. You know,
In this phase, I can name you just only two action scenes that
yeah,
I remember. One is the Spider-Man one where all three are going it, and two is when Shang-Chi fought for the first time in that
yes,
bus. Because I
yes, yes,
still
yes, yes, in
remember
that
that scene.
bus,
That bus scene is so good.
yeah.
But that's the only
Okay,
two
good,
scenes throughout this
great
whole
call.
phase that I remember.
Yeah,
Everything
It's
else,
because
it
everything
becomes the
is so
same.
cookie cutter, you
Yep.
know. Just
So
avoid the cookie cutter stuff.
So I'm going to ask this question. I think I'm going to ask this question for every movie that we watch that gets released in theaters. Is it something to see, to stream, or to skip? So I'll start with you, Joe.
Personally, nothing of value is lost. You can skip it. I think it's too long. You can't even stream
it's
it,
too long.
man.
It's too long.
Too
It's
long.
too
Okay.
long.
Look, I'll tell you guys this. I think you can wait to stream it. I wouldn't skip it. I think there's enough individual moments that make this movie fine, but I'm
Yeah.
not going to tell you
Oh,
guys
it's
to
a
go see it in
stream.
the theater. It's a
It's a stream.
it's a stream. In 40
I
days,
thought.
it'll come to the
Yeah.
theater.
I thought.
So
I thought you were going to ask the whole Motown Records. If I gave you $5, would you see this movie or buy a sandwich? I would buy a sandwich.
all right, you guys. So that's our thoughts on Wakanda Forever. But we do have a
Wild.
movie. Yeah, it is. It is wild. But here's another movie that we're talking about. And you know, if you guys don't know who Weird Al Yankovic is, you will soon.
I'm tired of people thinking I'm some kind of joke.
Your dad and I agreed it would be best if you just stop being who you are and doing the things you love.
Roku has joined the original movie feature race on their own streaming platform, the Roku channel. Based on a Funny I Died trailer from 2010, Weird, the Al Yankovic story is a biographical parody film directed by Eric Appel, who also co-wrote it with Weird Al himself. It stars Daniel Radcliffe as Weird Al as we navigate through his early life and career as an accordionist and parody songwriter. The rest of the cast includes Evan Rachel Wood as Madonna, Rainn Wilson as Dr. Demento, and Toby Huss and Julianne Nicholson as Weird Al's parents.
Oh, my little hungry one, open up a package of my banana.
All right, so this is the one movie this year I think Jared has been very psyched on to watch. So, Jared, give me your thoughts on this movie here.
Man, okay. So this movie was based on a short that they did for Funny or Die a number of years ago. And It's my favorite internet video. Full stop. It's with Aaron Paul playing Weird Al, Olivia Wilde playing Madonna, and it's just a star-studded cast with Patton Oswalt playing Dr. Demento. I'm a
Very
huge
steam
Weird Al
version.
fan. Yeah, I'm a huge Weird Al fan. My grandma bought me my first Weird Al CD. She introduced me to Dr. Demento. So this was like a really nice, like, I was very looking forward to this. What I got surpassed my expectations because it devolved in the most absurdist, wonderful thing. I saw people online talking about it, being like, I hate movies that take embellishments, and this movie isn't for me. And I'm going, what the fuck are you talking about? What they made with this is a parody movie, sorry, a parody of an Oscar movie. It's fitting for a guy who would take songs and make parodies out of them. I think Daniel Radcliffe being just shredded made it even funnier in this movie. I think everything about this movie was hilarious. And the best part of this movie, yeah, were the performances, yeah, were everything, but it was the cameos. It was that pool party where you had Conan playing Andy Warhol, you had Gallagher, you had all the 2 out of the 3 members of the Lonely Island. You had all these people playing these characters because they love Al in real life. Like Jorma from Weird Al didn't get paid enough to cover his flight for this movie, so he flew himself out to play because they love Al so much. You could tell that these people grew up with his music and felt like really honored to be in this movie because they were playing such crazy cameos. It was hilarious. I get it if absurdism isn't your thing. Like, yeah, of course Weird Al didn't get assassinated at the fucking Grammys. He didn't kill Pablo Escobar. I understand that, but it's still very funny. I loved how he came up with "Eat It" before Michael Jackson. Like all of that stuff. It was so funny, and I couldn't be happier watching this.
You know, to your point, I think I liked the movie. I think the problem I have of the movie is just that I thought it was going to go all the way absurdist, but you're right. It went making fun of an Oscar movie. So that's why there's certain parts there. I'm all like, it feels like the momentum kind of slowed down for me at times because it's trying to be funny while being serious, right? So,
yeah.
But the absurdist parts of those movies were some of the funniest parts. I think you're right. when he got on stage because he wouldn't wear that Michael Jackson jacket, and you just see how ripped Daniel Radcliffe is. I'm just like, what the fuck is this? You know, Evan Rachel Wood as Madonna is so good.
Yeah.
She was so good in this movie, and the cameos far out. I just remember watching it, and then I was all like, "What the fuck is Lin-Manuel Miranda doing right now here in this movie?" You know, showing up first.
As like the doctor.
The doctor. You know, showing up. I think my first big laugh though was, you know, it's the beginning of the movie and they were in the house. They're like, "Oh, you didn't tell me this was a polka party, right?" And then he starts playing, but it's the girl that comes into the door and was like, "Oh, the cops are here." I'm like, "What the fuck?" I don't know why. I just laughed so hard. I think this movie has some really good laughs. I don't know if I love the movie, but I enjoyed watching it a lot. And you know, I for people that love Weird Al, I think you like it because when people watch especially for musicians, right? You watch biopics because you hear the music and you just like associate yourself with memory. The fact that it's only certain songs and it went like overboard with the other story, I think was really smart on their end, but I can tell, and it feels like a Funny or Die sketch at times. I know that's where it came from, but I could tell, you could tell, because some of them just didn't work for me, but some of them worked pretty well. What about you, Joe? What do you think of this?
Pretty much parroting everything I was saying. I don't know if I would consider myself someone that grew up with Weird Al, but I've definitely, had a lot of influences, a lot of songs I've listened to it. I thought my overall opinion of Weird Al is a guy that makes parody movies or songs that is incredibly nice dude, to the point where he is near faultless. He's kind of like one of those guys where you'd be devastated if you found out that he was a Nazi or something.
How upset
So
would you be if you found out that Al was like a diddler or something? I would be.
yeah, exactly.
Oh.
So yeah, so I mean, I don't ever think that's the case here, but it's just one of those things. He's kind of a really wholesome dude. He's kind of like a Robin Williams situation or whatever, or Tom Hanks or whatever you guys, or Keanu Reeves, I guess. Just really well known. It kind of goes to show, because I think for a lot of people that just wanted to do a cameos with them, they probably just asked, "Hey, can I just be in it, man?" Like, because they like you so much. So, which is kind of goes to how he is as a person, which is great. Movie overall, really fun to watch. It was a breath of fresh air, in my opinion, watching everything. Music was well done. I think Radcliffe did a great job. Interesting choice with Rainn Wilson, I think.
Yeah, I thought him as Dr. Demento was kind of crazy.
But I mean, it's fine. I mean, I recognize this whole thing is supposed to be a little bit absurd, anyways. And just having like people like Pee Wee Herter and Alice Cooper and all those kind of people, and Lin Manuel obviously is like, what the heck. So it struck me immediately, like, oh yeah, this is clearly people just wanted to do kind of like a passion project sort of thing. And honestly, I didn't even know there was a Funny or Die Productions. Honestly, when I saw this, it kind of blew my mind. And I know Roku channel picking it up. I feel like they could have probably even gotten a bigger. I don't know if it's necessarily because it's Weird Al, but I figure a bigger production company could have probably picked it up. But good on Roku channel picking it up. Good on them to also make it free and available for everyone. For a second, I thought I had to like subscribe to Roku or something. But
so okay, hey. Roku channel, I've been watching a ton of. I forgot to say it recently. It has every episode of Murder, She Wrote on there, and Columbo, and all these other like old shows. It's awesome. Oh, by the way, Murder, She Wrote is fucking great.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out. Oh yeah, Jack Black was in it too for a while.
Yep.
I don't know how Roku makes its money. Maybe it's through commercials or something.
Yeah, they have commercials and ads. And
yeah, so I think overall very, very fun movie to watch. For anyone that has internet connection, you can check this out, which is great. And it's definitely worth your time and effort. And I think overall, fantastic movie.
So I'll do this now with streaming movies. On your streaming queue, I'm going to give you have 5 slots. Most important to bottom. Where should this movie be in people's queues right now?
I think assuming like if you're asking a question, if people already have a 5, would you bump this anywhere?
Correct.
I would say anywhere from 3 to 5 is a good solid spot.
Absolutely,
to kind of do it. It might not be the most anticipated thing for a lot of people for whatever they're watching, but I think it's perfectly fine. I don't know. This movie cost like $8 million to make, and that's kind of nothing. Like Rings of Power, I heard Rings of Power cost like $50 million an episode or something.
Yeah.
So I mean, just relative to that, I think it's definitely worth the watch, and I definitely think y'all should check it out at some point.
Yeah, I put it 4th on your guys' queue. You guys probably have other things, but it should bump some of these things out. Just for the sheer madness that is, Daniel Radcliffe was pretty committed in this movie, and I thought that he had a very fun time making this movie. Also, side note, so the guy that plays his dad, Toby Huss, right?
Toby Huss is so good.
So yeah, so first off, Joe, did you know that Toby Huss? Do you recognize him in any other show by any chance?
Dude,
The dad.
for a second, I mistaken him for someone else altogether. So
Okay.
that's already a problem.
All right.
But he just here's the thing. I don't recognize the face, but I recognize the voice a lot. So I'm guessing he's some sort of voice actor. Is
Okay.
what I'm
So
guessing.
before we get there,
Yeah.
so as an actor, the reason why I was like watching this movie and it's just his mannerisms, I'm all like, I remember this motherfucker from somewhere. And it's because he was the Wiz in Seinfeld. He was the Wiz King. So that was random, right? Because I remember him like putting the crown, going nuts because he's the guy that like that Julia Dreyfus is all like, God, it's his eyes. I don't know, something about it because he sees in the commercial. But what if I told you he was a voice of Hank's favorite neighbor in King of the Hill?
Khan?
Yeah.
Is he a voice of Khan?
He's the voice of Khan.
Yeah,
he's also Cotton as well.
Okay, that's a little bit less of a stretch, honestly. But like, dude, can you imagine being in the recording studio? I'm like, this is racist as fuck, man. I can't believe he's doing this shit. I would love it. I think it's hilarious.
Joe, did you ever watch Pete and Pete as a kid?
I did not. No, Adventures of Pete and Pete. No.
Yeah, Johnny, did you watch that?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was Artie. He was
the
superhero guy. Yeah. He's been in he is one of my favorite, like, that guy. He was also in *Halt and Catch Fire*, which *Halt and Catch Fire* is a great TV show.
All right. So these are the two movies we got to watch this week. Joe, where can they find us?
Guys, you can always find us at Film Lovers GTTG. Definitely check out Weird Al. Definitely rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. Rest in peace, this whole movie franchise, honestly. It's just, I don't know why they did that all together. This episode is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club, obviously. You can use this code at Film Lovers for $1 off on your Dollar Shave Club for your first order. But yeah, let us know. Email us. Let us know what you think of the movie. Stream it. That's what I highly suggest, highly recommend. You guys know what's up. And let us know if we're wrong. We had a little bit of polarizing opinions on some of these things. And, we could be wrong. So at Film Lovers GTTG.
Jared?
You can find me at JLuthi on whatever is left of Twitter by the time you hear this. Don't follow me on Instagram. But yeah, follow me on... I'm JLuthi, JLUTHY, wherever you go. So maybe I'm feeling good one day and I'll approve you on Instagram. But follow me anywhere on social.
And you guys can follow me, JNO11. That's JNGO11. Probably on Letterboxd. I do have my growing list of movies that I've watched and I've ranked for this year. So it keeps moving on around. But yeah, by when this episode releases, it will be going into Thanksgiving. So we want to say happy early Thanksgiving to everyone here. But the next episode, since we know it's Thanksgiving season, we're going to talk about some of the most disappointing and worst movies we've seen of 2022. I have a feeling Wakanda Forever might be on there. Until next week, you guys, we'll see you soon.